Let's talk to Al Jazeera's Joanh live for us at the courthouse in Oslo. Composed, apart from that one moment when we saw him apparently wiping away tears, perhaps because he thought how good his video was, not necessarily because he felt remorseful. Take us through the proceedings we've seen so far.
What you've basically said is that
there's certainly been no sign at all, David, of remorse, and no other signs of emotion apart, as you say, from that one moment when his composure did appear to crack as the court played a 12-minute video that he himself had made, a propaganda video condensing down the ideas, this ideology that Breivik holds of a Muslim invasion of Europe, that he alone apparently was going to stand up and combat, firing the first salvo in a war, a clash of civilizations, if you like, at the Labour Party government here in Norway and its youth group, political youth group happening on Utøya Island, the first salvo in this clash of civilizations. That's the ideology. That's what apparently brought him to tears. The big question, of course, is this the ravings of a lunatic or the cold calculations of a criminal mind? And that is a central question that this trial will have to answer. Is he sane or is he psychotic, in order to determine how to sentence him at the end of it? The day's proceedings have seen a lengthy opening statement from the prosecution, which is still going on now, going through in great detail every step of the journey that Breivik himself has made over the 9 years that it took him to plan this attack, and then the attack itself. There was, of course, the reading out of the indictment, a lengthy indictment detailing the charges, detailing as well each and every one of his victims and precisely how they died, the forensic details of how they died. And he listened impassively to all of that. He showed no emotion, he showed no remorse. He has throughout looked completely calm, completely composed and entirely relaxed in these surroundings, in this court behind me.
He has a manifesto. They played that video in court. Is he going to be able to use the courtroom as a platform for his extreme views when he comes to make any kind of statement?
He's going to try, and to an extent he will be given the space to do that. His opening testimony will start on Tuesday. He'll be given 5 days on the witness stand under cross-examination, and examination first of all, of course, by his own lawyers for the defence, and he will attempt very much to use that as a platform to expound his ideas. He's already told his lawyer, who has told the media, that in fact his main motivation behind launching those attacks on the 22nd of July last year was to market this manifesto, this ideology that he claims as his own. So he will certainly try. There will be a degree of latitude. It will be very important for the psychiatrists sitting in court and for the judges as well to listen to what he has to say, however controversial, to determine his state of mental health. But of course they will rein him in if he strays too far from the facts of this case, and crucially it will not be broadcast on television.
Yeah, crucial, so he won't get the platform he might have desired. Joan, I'm going to come back to you in just a second after we give our viewers a chance to learn a little bit more about the man himself. Who is Breivik? Well, those who knew him before the attacks describe him as ordinary, friendly. 33-year-old's the son of a Norwegian diplomat and nurse who separated less than a year after he was born. As a child, he lived with his mother, despite authorities recommending he should be moved to receive proper care. Leaving school at 18, joining a right-wing political party, left it in 2006, saying it was too open to multiculturalism, subsequently making fanatical right-wing postings online. And he developed a personal manifesto along similar lines when living with a solitary life in an apartment and then a farm. A loner, a determined man, a calm man, Joanh. And I think one of the most chilling things that I learned today is that during the course of the prosecution, there will be those who were shot and survived who will come face to face with Breivik in that courtroom.
Yes, they will. They will be brought in as witnesses. We've spoken to some of them in the days leading up to the trial. They have told us that they hope to be able to sit in court and look him in the eyes and tell him that whatever it was he was trying to achieve did not succeed, that they are proud to stand here alive still and say that he was not able to achieve this assault on Norwegian society, on Norwegian values, that it simply didn't succeed, that Norwegian unity will see this country through. But of course, a 10-week trial lies ahead, and there will be a lot of time, as we've just said, for Anders Behring Breivik to expound on his own views, to put his own views out, and to have them listened to, recorded, if not live on television, but recorded and put out by the media. And that, of course, is something that a lot of people are very concerned about.
Simply because we're seeing the person who seems to be part of Anders Behring Breivik's defence team addressing the courtroom. Might be interesting to hear what they have to say.
We'll include witnesses that are experts on health from the Dikemark hospital and from Ila. And before I take you through these topics, I should mention that the defendant's wish is to be sentenced as a mentally sane, as a legally sane person. So our evidence will support that claim, that he should be deemed legally sane. So the first part will be persons from Dikemark that have observed him and those that have followed up on him at Ila prison while he has been an inmate there. The next group will be experts, sorry for interrupting, those who have observed him. Have their names been listed on a list of evidence witnesses communicated to the court? We will present that later, because I have here a list of witnesses and evidence received on the 13th of April. So if you just can link your topics to names on that list, I would appreciate that. Well, we have not ordered names under those topics, these topics that I'm mentioning now. So I will do it in a slightly different way, but the health expert witnesses are not listed here because, as we all know, the second...
Well, although we have there the voice of the translator covering anybody who's speaking in court, we see there the lead defence lawyer alongside him, Anders Behring Breivik, and the point he makes as we bring Joanh, our correspondent in Oslo, back into this is that Behring doesn't want anybody to think he was mad.
No, isn't that interesting to listen to a member of the defence team there saying, in no uncertain terms, we want our client to be considered sane, to be sentenced as a sane man and to face whatever the law has to throw at him. This says so much about Anders Behring Breivik. There's nothing frivolous in what he thinks and believes. He wants desperately to be taken seriously. The last thing he wants is to be declared insane, even if that meant he didn't go to prison, because that would mean that everything he stands for is written off as the rants and ravings of a lunatic. He wants to be taken seriously. He wants this manifesto to live on in decades to come. He wants to become a person sitting in prison who becomes a figurehead for this movement in decades to come, that gathers the faithful and gathers the forces for this war, this extraordinary confrontation that he has central to this manifesto, this ideology that he based his actions on.
Joanh, thank you very much indeed. Fascinating first day. This is a trial that could well go on for 10 weeks, and we'll continue to bring you the very latest news here on Al Jazeera. Anders